Trent Noah was a disaster and is now a key leader for Kentucky basketball? How so? Let's break it down. Let's get to the Kentucky news. Trent Noah, once considered a disaster by his coach Mark Pope, is about to make a transformative leap in his second year with the Kentucky Wildcats, a program steeped in tradition and excellence. Noah's story isn't just about technical evolution, but also about resilience, emerging leadership, and the ability to overcome adversity in a high-pressure environment. Noah's journey to this point has been anything but linear. His freshman season was marked by ups and downs, like an emotional roller coaster for both him and BBN fans. There were moments of brilliance, like that memorable night against Tennessee, when he exploded for 11 points in a crucial victory at Rupp Arena. However, these flashes were interspersed with inconsistencies and limited minutes on the court. Averaging 2.7 points per game and shooting 33.3% from three, it would be easy to label his first season as disappointing. But looking only at the numbers might miss something much bigger: Noah's resilient mindset and willingness to grow. Mark Pope, the coach who arrived at Kentucky during a transitional period and has worked tirelessly to shape a new identity for the program, saw something special in Noah from start. Over the summer, Pope publicly acknowledged the young player's early struggles. Last year was a disaster, the coach admitted bluntly. However, what could have been interpreted as criticism turned out to be a veiled compliment. Pope highlighted Noah's exponential progress, now positioning him as a seasoned and confident voice on the court. He comes in and says, "Guys, relax. Let me explain what Coach is saying right now," Pope shared with evident pride. This evolution goes beyond technical skills and reflects an impressive maturity, something all great leaders need to develop. His own teammates have been privileged witnesses to this transformation. Kentucky point guard Jalen Lowe made a point of praising Noah, calling him the best shooter I've ever seen. Malachi Moreno, a freshman center who quickly became another big name on the roster, echoed the same sentiment. "You could be there at the catcher, and he'll still shoot." These statements are more than casual praise. They represent a collective validation of the role Noah is assuming within the team. Of course, as with any journey of redemption, there are skeptical voices. Some analysts still question whether Noah truly has the potential to become one of Kentucky's top players this season. They point to his modest statistics last year and suggest that the hype may be premature. However, these same critics ignore the fact that college basketball is a dynamic ecosystem where drastic changes can occur from one season to the next. Just look at recent stories of players who started as reserves or had uneven seasons before transforming into leading men. Noah is following this path, and the signs are promising. One of the keys to Noah's growth was his decision to remain at Kentucky after a significant coaching change. Originally committed to South Carolina, he reconsidered his future when John Calipari left Lexington for Arkansas. The arrival of Mark Pope presented a unique opportunity. Noah could stay home, represent the state where he grew up, and build his identity under new leadership. This often underestimated choice demonstrates a resilient mindset. Rather than seeking an easy way out by transferring to another program, Noah embraced the challenge of reinventing himself within Kentucky. Today, the nickname Mountain Mamba follows Noah as a symbol of his determination and lethality on the three-point field. The term, inspired by Kobe Bryant's legendary Black Mamba, reflects not only his offensive prowess, but also his aggressive and competitive approach. For a team looking to regain ground in the competitive Southeastern Conference, Noah could be just the difference they've been missing. His long-range shooting and growing lead offer Kentucky a valuable strategic dimension, don't they? After a summer of intense work within the NCAA's training window, a strategic 8-week period that allows coaches to shape their teams before official competition. Pope and his staff emerge with a unique sense of purpose and enthusiasm. The Kentucky coach, known for his ability to inspire and lead with passion, was full of praise when describing the commitment his players demonstrated during this crucial period. In a recent appearance on the Eye on College Basketball podcast, Pope was emphatic in highlighting the positive impact of that preparation cycle. "My guys had an incredible 8-week recovery protocol, plus week 0, he said, displaying a brightness in his voice that reflects the confidence in his group. It's incredibly invigorating. With the new makeup of these teams, it's the first time you get this great group together and kind of explore each other and discover who you are. We had an incredible training session." These words aren't just a reflection of optimism. They represent the foundation upon which Pope is building something special in Lexington. The current situation is particularly interesting for the Wildcats. With 10 newcomers joining the roster, integrating young and experienced talent simultaneously is always a challenge. However, Pope seems to have found the right formula. He mentioned that the end of the 8-week window marked the beginning of an even more detailed phase of evaluation and planning. During a week dedicated exclusively to analyzing progress so far and mapping out next steps, the coach and his coaching staff delved deeply into the details, from individual player performance to the team's collective dynamics. "This week is the window where I can focus all my energy on doing a post-mortem of the 8 weeks and preparing for the next 4-week session, the 6-week session after that. And in the season," Pope explained, revealing his guiding approach. This dedication to the process of building a competitive team is something that directly reflects on the players themselves. A striking example of this tireless mentality came to light when Pope, encouraging everyone to return home to rest after the end of summer training, noticed that some players simply couldn't tear themselves away from the court. Denzel Aberdeen, a senior with a national championship ring on his finger, was spotted sweating heavily, working hard even during that official week off. Reese Potter was also out there, giving it his all, even with injections to alleviate physical discomfort. For Pope, these gestures symbolize more than mere discipline. They're signs of a collective hunger that can propel Kentucky to the top. "I think we have guys who are just hungry," he said, his pride in leading such a committed group evident. This spirit of determination comes at a crucial time for the Wildcats. The 2025-26 season promises to be full of challenges, beginning in the early days with events like Big Blue Madness on October 10th. Followed by a highly anticipated matchup against Purdue, a potential preseason number 1 seed, on October 24th. This final game, held at the iconic Rupp Arena, will be a stern test to assess where Kentucky stands in relation to the best teams in the country. However, given the level of preparation demonstrated thus far, it's hard not to believe the Wildcats will be ready to face any opponent head-on. Furthermore, the broader NCAA context and its specific regulations, such as the 8-week training window limited to 8 hours per week on the court, with up to 4 of those reserved for skills instruction, adds another layer of complexity to Pope's job. Dealing with these restrictions while maximizing player development requires creativity and strategy. However, the Kentucky coach has proven himself up to the challenge, transforming every available minute into an opportunity to shape his team. What makes all this even more impressive is the way Pope balances intensity with moments of recovery and renewal. By encouraging his athletes to return home and briefly disconnect from the demands of the sport, he demonstrates a deep understanding that success isn't just about hard work, but also about caring for and intelligently managing physical and mental well-being. Let's move on. The basketball world woke up this week to news that marks the end of an era. John Wall, the first overall pick in the 2010 NBA draft, and one of the greatest names in Kentucky basketball history, announced his retirement after 11 seasons in the NBA. The decision ends a career filled with remarkable moments, both at the height of his glory and during the adversities imposed by injuries that defined the final chapters of his professional career. For sports fans, especially those connected to the state of Kentucky, this is a moment of nostalgia and reflection on the legacy of a player who personified speed, creativity, and resilience. John Wall was more than just a point guard. He was a phenomenon from the start. His time at Kentucky, as a freshman, already hinted that the world was on the cusp of something special. Under John Calipari, Wall led the Wildcats to an unforgettable 2009-10 season. With impressive averages of 16.6 points, 6.5 assists, 4.3 rebounds, and 1.8 steals, he quickly established himself as a dominant force on the court. Not just for his statistics, but for the way he changed the pace of the game with his explosive speed and unparalleled vision. It was during this period that Wall earned significant individual honors, such as SEC Player of the Year, SEC Tournament MVP, and a spot on the All-SEC first team. He also led Kentucky to the Elite Eight, cementing his status as one of the most promising players in the country even before entering the NBA. The transition to the professional league was a natural one for Wall, who quickly became the centerpiece of the Washington Wizards. He arrived in the United States Capitol as the first overall pick in the 2010 NBA Draft and did not disappoint. From his rookie season, when he averaged 16.4 points, 8.3 assists, and 1.8 steals, it was clear that Wall had everything it took to be a star. Although he finished second in Rookie of the Year voting, behind Blake Griffin, he gained immediate recognition with inclusion on the NBA All-Rookie First Team. Over his first 9 seasons in Washington, Wall led the Wizards to the playoffs 4 times, including 2 appearances in the Eastern Conference semifinals. These years were marked by brilliant performances, clinical passing, and aggressive defense that placed him among the league's best point guards. At the height of his career, Wall accumulated 5 All-Star Game selections, a spot on the All-NBA third team in 2017, and a spot on the NBA All-Defensive second team in 2015. He also made his mark in events such as the NBA Slam Dunk Contest, which he won in 2014 with displays that combined style and power. However, perhaps his greatest achievement was becoming the 4th highest scorer in Wizards history with 10,879 points, surpassed only by legends such as Elvin Hayes, Bradley Beal, and Jeff Malone. These numbers are a testament to the lasting impact Wall had on the franchise, even if his departure in 2020 marked the beginning of a new phase in his career. Wall was traded to the Houston Rockets in a trade that brought Russell Westbrook to the Wizards. While this move generated positive expectations, it coincided with the onset of a series of physical challenges that would significantly limit his presence on the court. Knee problems, which had already surfaced in previous seasons, intensified, reducing Wall to minimal appearances in his final years in the NBA. He played only 41 games or fewer in his last 4 seasons, including a brief stint with the Los Angeles Clippers in 2022-23, where he appeared in 34 games before being traded back to the Rockets. For many, these injuries represented the inevitable decline of a player who always relied on his speed and agility to excel. However, it would be unfair to define Wall's career solely by his final years. He was, above all, an example of determination and love for the game. Even facing hardships, he never lost his passion for basketball and continued to fight to return to the court whenever possible. This resilient spirit is an integral part of his legacy. Beyond his professional achievements, Wall will also be remembered for his connection to Kentucky. He was one of the first great stars produced by Calipari's program, helping pave the way for future generations of players who would follow in his footsteps. His success in high school and in the NBA inspired young athletes across the state and solidified his position as a local icon. Looking back today, it's clear that Wall didn't just represent Kentucky basketball. He raised its bar and showed the world what was possible to achieve coming out of Lexington. Share your thoughts.